Yeah, yeah, 360. Yeah, I'm not like round and round and round we go. And where we stop, I'm like nobody knows. 360 degrees, 360 degrees. We give you what you want, we give you what you need. 360 degrees, 360 degrees. We tell the real truth, you know what I mean?
And welcome to another edition of 360 Degrees. Today's hosts have Christopher Blue, Odie, and Mercer Prescott from Politics. Odie, start it off.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy New Year. We'll talk to you guys next year. Just wanted to get that out the way in case I forgot to get that lame ass never gets old joke out of the way. So, I know we kind of like touched on best of and worst of for 2017, but I want to focus on some of the things that we're looking forward to a little bit more because good news never gets old, right? So Thursday, I think it was, I saw the trailer for Family Feud coming out. And, of course, you know, they shot to Blue, they shot to B, they shot to J. Jay sitting in this confessional thing. I'm like, oh, shit, can't wait till it comes out. I'm sure it's probably going to drop at 4:44 at 4:44 p.m. Eastern Time. Not really sure if it did or not, but I'm just glad, you know, moseyed on the title, and it was there, sure enough. So I watched the video yesterday, and I'm not going to lie, there are some parts that were way too artistic and went over my head. But as far as, like, the general plot, and B made her appearance, and she had on, like, this all-black thing and, like, this crazy-ass, I don't know, it looked like those hats that Catholic people wear, but it was veiled, and I don't know, but she looked great, though. She looked great. You know, Jay was sitting in the confessional, and Blue Ivy was in the video, and when it kind of introduced it, she and her father were walking, like, down the aisle in this church. But right before that, you see a group of women. Okay, so just to, like, explain the overall concept of the video, it starts, like, way in the future. It starts in, like, 2044. Or, yeah, right? Yeah. So it starts in 2044, and then it, like, moves backwards. And they're talking about, like, the legacy of their family and how it's evolved over time. But then when it flashes back to, maybe it doesn't start in 2044, but at one point, it flashes back to a circle of women sitting around the table, and they are the ancestors of the descendants that, like, appear in the future or whatever. But there's a circle of powerful women sitting at a table talking about how to change. So it's kind of like, to me, like a secret society kind of spin, but the secret society is changing because women are in power. So they're all talking about how to change the country for the better. And then what happens is this woman says, America's a family. It doesn't need to be divided. And it's like my father says, when the family feuds, nobody wins. So then it flashes back to 2017, where you see Blue Ivy walking down the aisle of this church with her father. So basically the woman, one of the most powerful women at the table is their daughter. And so, of course, I was like, nigga, like, I love it. That part obviously didn't go over my head, but I'm thinking with, like, all the scandal, the way Jay is setting the shit up, it's like, with all, and this is what I thought about too, with all the, like, bad news of the Harvey Weinsteins and every man in power who has, like, fucked it up for other people, you know, to get on. I think it's a good thing to expose them, because that's what's going to happen. It's going to take a gang of women to turn the country around and just make it look better, you know. And that is one thing I'm optimistic about in 2018. That's a long ass way of saying that. It's just, I think women are just going to get way more opportunities than we used to have, and it's not going to rely on men getting shit done. The video was also directed by Ava DuVernay, who is a really talented Black director. She, I don't think you guys watch, but Queen Sugar, she's a regular director on Queen Sugar, but all of those episodes are directed by women, by Black women. So, shout out to Ava DuVernay. So, it was definitely strategic. Like I said, some of the parts went over my head, but I can appreciate what Jay is trying to do, especially considering the theme of his album. You know, he fucked up. Everybody knows he cheated on B. He confirmed it. You know, so I can appreciate this approach.
You know, it's funny when you say about it going over your head a little bit. I remember Dr. Dre was talking about when he first started hearing Nas, right? And how, like, in his hood, Nas was over people's heads, you know, because everybody's just running about simpler things, you know. And you got Nas talking about, you know, I don't sleep because sleep is the cousin of death. And that's kind of like went over their heads a little bit. So it's kind of good in a way that things may go over your head sometimes, because then it just makes you just want to get into those things. Like I said, I was a kid that followed politics so I can get the jokes in Mad Magazine because they went over my head. So that's not such a bad thing if you expand on it. If you just decide, okay, well, this went over my head, let me make sure that doesn't happen again, and then just do a little bit more.
Yeah, I thought it was a dope ass video, but I like seeing Blue. Blue got her little SAG credit at the end, so I'm sure she got some sort of check. Keep that money familial.
I can't believe they still make music videos. And I say that, and probably not just because I don't watch them anymore, but because I used to get excited about videos. I used to be like, oh, world premiere video from such and such. And then now I'm just like, you know.
Now, granted, though, I mean, I really was looking forward to this one. Like, I never watched them the day they come out, but I was looking for this one. But that's the thing I like about Tidal. You get exclusive stuff, you get it the day it drops, and they also send push notifications. Now, granted, they can be a little pushy with the push notifications,
right?
Especially because they'll start playing things I'm not interested in, or they'll recommend artists I'm like, I'm not interested in that genre of music, period. Like, no thanks. But other than that, I really do like Tidal. So, yeah, I definitely like the video. I'm going to watch it again to see if I can get any more out of it. But there were some appearances in there. Michael B. Jordan, Tandy Newton was in there. Rosario Dawson was one of the women sitting at the table.
Huh, okay. Well, now I have no choice but to watch it because Rosario Dawson's in it. Fine, Jay-Z, I'll watch your stupid video.
Yeah, it was pretty dope.
So.
All right, so yeah, that's all I had.
All right.
All right, well, that's enough. Mercer, go ahead.
Right. You know,
it's man.
I don't hate him. I'm just not a fan. I don't think because you don't like a particular artist or a particular genre of music, you got to be a hater. One, as an artist, I mean, that's not the most creative thing to do. You know, I don't think that, you know, airing out your dirty laundry is the most brilliant thing that you could do as an artist. I don't think Jay-Z's the GOAT, you know what I'm saying? I just not with it, you know what I mean? This dynasty shit, I'm just not feeling it. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah. Well, I will say one thing.
I'm not a Tidal subscriber. I prefer Google Play because it gives me the option of also Google YouTube Red to see videos that I normally wouldn't see or shows that I normally wouldn't have access to. I hate commercials, so I could watch YouTube without having commercials. Ugh, you just don't understand. Ooh, I hate it. It's how bad when I look at YouTube on somebody else's device and the commercials come on. It just make my nerves bad. And now that Facebook have commercials on their videos, it makes me not even watch their videos anymore. It makes my nerves bad, you know.
Yeah. I watch some political videos on Facebook, and right when they're about to get to the point, they play a video for some horse shit, and I'm just like, commercial. I'm just like,
You
they
feel
was about to get to the point, man.
You feel me? And then, I could download on my devices, these playlists that I've been curating for over 100 years. Now, it don't compare to my Spotify thing, but I'm not on Spotify Prime right now, so I have to make my Google Play work. I just couldn't justify Tidal when they say, oh, we get the videos, but a week later they're on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy to me. You know what I mean?
So, real quick though, guys. So do either of you use Fire Sticks right now?
No,
I don't.
Okay, because well, maybe you've seen something about that, but there was there's a notification on the Fire Sticks that say YouTube is no longer being supported.
Oh man.
And so I was just wondering if any of you had come across something or why.
Interesting. You could get YouTube through Kodi, right? So it's not an issue.
Yeah.
True. Well, yeah, that makes sense. But it's also on like a DVD player, separate DVD player. So.
It's funny. At one point, I was like, when I saw Kodi was on, YouTube was on Kodi, I was like, why would I need to get Kodi through YouTube? And then I was like, oh,
that's nice.
Now you know. Because some parties, Amazon Music doesn't get along with YouTube because they're competitive music services. Therefore, they're like, we're not going to support them. They're not going to be on our device and get ad revenue off of our shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably why that happened.
And they're probably really scraping for that ad revenue because internet ad revenue is so much less than like if you were to get it in a print newspaper or something like that. So they're scrounging for every ad they can get.
Amazon don't scrounge for shit. Amazon's the number one company overall, maybe number 3 maybe overall. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that motherfuckers. The CEO's a billionaire, you know what I mean? And
unlike Donald Trump, like Jeff Bezos is an actual billionaire. Like if he wrote you a check for $1 billion, it would clear.
Exactly. Versus, and Trump may be a billionaire, but he's billionaire based on assets. And that to me, if it ain't cash, it ain't ass. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The ones that can write checks is the true billionaires. The Bill Gates and that guy from Amazon and
Jeff Bezos. And then real quick, they had this whole thing where Trump is now going after Amazon because he's trying to put this thing out there like, oh, the post office is losing billions because they're not charging Amazon enough. That's not the reason why. The reason why is because of Congress, because they want to kill the post office so that they can be divvied up between UPS and FedEx, because UPS and FedEx gives them campaign contributions. The post office does not. Mm-hmm. And they made this law years ago where they have to prepay pensions, which is ridiculous. So it ties up an exorbitant amount of money. And that's one of the reasons. It's not the only reason, but it's one of the reasons. But they would love to see the post office go away so it can go between their campaign contributors. But here's the thing. When it comes to parcels, post office is doing just fine. Their losses have nothing to do with their parcels or how much they're charging Amazon. Only reason why they're going after Jeff Bezos is because Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post, which I did not know until the other day. And the Post, of course, is a huge critic of Donald Trump and his horseshit. So it's so transparent. It couldn't be more transparent if it was wrapped in glass. It's sad and pathetic that Trump feels need to do that, but he wants to be like his dictator buddies, so he needs to get rid of his political enemies.
But Amazon don't need no damn UPS. They got droids. Drones. They got drones.
Yeah, but flying drones in certain areas is not good, And you're not allowed to just fly drones wherever you want to. So you got to be very careful about that. You can get a lot.
I've really never seen Amazon deliver anything versus UPS. I get all my Amazon stuff through FedEx.
Well, it all depends on where I get it from. Sometimes it comes FedEx. Sometimes it comes, UPS. Sometimes it comes regular mail. But a lot of mine comes through the post office.
Okay, all my stuff comes from overseas, so that's probably why I get it from, not UPS per se.
Oh, okay.
Little Chinese shirts and shorts. Oh my gosh, I thought this was gonna fit. Oh my gosh, it's too tight. I thought it said double XL. Yeah, double XL in China is a small here. Okay.
Or like extra medium.
Yeah. These are underwear now. These are supposed to be baggy shorts.
China, we love you, sort of. But I will say this, going into my thing here for 2017, and I follow Robin Thede on Twitter. And for those of you who don't know who Robin Thede is, she was on a nightly show. She was a writer and contributor on a nightly show with Larry Wilmore. And
she got her own show on BET. I haven't watched it though.
Oh, I didn't know that. I gotta check it out then.
Yeah.
It's on
I really
BET.
gotta watch it.
It's on BET. I'll bootleg it and then just like donate to a charity that she likes. But here's my thing. She said that put up a GIF, animated GIF that describes your 2017. And I wrote back, and I just said I would, but I can't find a GIF of me being buried alive in a coffin filled with scorpions. Now keep in mind, that's just politically, okay? Because I'm just going to come out and say it. Everybody's like, oh, I'm so glad 2017 is over. I can't wait for 2018. I'm just going to come right out and say it. 2018 is going to suck dog dick. And I don't mean some well-groomed pure breed. I mean some mangy stray dog with worms who drinks water out of the sewer. Okay? Now, here's the thing. Personally, you may have a fantastic 2018. You may get a new job. You may get a promotion on your old job. You may get married, have a kid, buy a house. But politically, it's going to be a bloodbath. And some of that may interfere with your other good fortunes. Okay? So it's really easy for me to sit back and say things are going to be bad based on the tons and tons of evidence from 2017, like Trump's tax cuts and his fights with the press and starting a nuclear war with North Korea. It's really easy for me to say 2018 is going to be horrible. Okay? But the fact is, how do we change that? I can tell you how we don't change it, by doing nothing. Okay? It's why I'm not a fan of some organized religions, because I've seen religious groups, mostly local groups, right? They go out and they do something about it, right? They start clinics for people who can't afford health care. They provide low cost or even free daycare for working parents. They organize food drives, help the homeless, provide them with blankets in the winter, even shelter when the weather's really bad. And then there are some religious groups that just say shit like, all you gotta do is pray. Just pray and everything will be okay. You know what? Everything will be okay is exactly what George said to Lenny at the end of Mice and Men, right before he shot him in the back of his fucking head. So, and it's why I hate movies like War Room. You guys ever seen War Room?
War Room? I don't think so. Who was in it?
Oh, a whole bunch of nobodies. But War Room was one of the worst religious movies I'd attempted to watch. I didn't see the whole thing.
Yes, I did see it. Where this woman in the closet.
Yeah, and it made so much money compared to its budget. And a lot of those movies do. Like the Pure Flix religious movies. Here's my thing, okay? If you're having marital problems with your husband, don't talk to him. Don't go to therapy. You get in your closet and pray. And through a series of unfortunate events, he'll find his way back to you. It's low impact, high reward. All you gotta do is pray. Get the fuck out of here with that horse shit. If you want something to be better, you gotta go out and do it. God doesn't, like Eddie Griffin said years ago, God doesn't like punks. He likes people who get their hands dirty. He told, like Eddie Griffin said, he told David, when he fought Goliath, you take this rock and hit that big motherfucker right between the eyes. He'll back up off you. You know what I mean? God doesn't back punks. He backs people who does stuff. If you go out and do stuff, God will have your back, at least according to the Bible stories that I read as a kid. Okay? So if you want to make 2018 a truly great year politically, you have to make it happen, because left on its own, it's really gonna suck. So the first thing I would suggest, get involved in the political process in any way possible. Don't let anybody say that anything you do politically doesn't matter. Everything you do politically matters. Whether you just sign a petition, attend a march, help with a phone bank for a local politician, go knocking on doors with your local politician, do help with a voter registration drive. Everything you do, no matter how big or how small, is going to help. So don't let people say, oh, you just signed a petition, you're not really doing. Shut the fuck up, man. You're doing something. Nothing you do politically is too small. Okay? Number 2, stop talking to Trump fans about politics. I'm pretty sure that there are some of us, myself included, who wasted a lot of valuable time. Time we'll never get back. There was a line in one of my in a song that goes, "If I could have my wasted days back, would I use them to get back on track?" But here's the thing: you're not going to get your wasted time back. It's gone. So don't waste your time talking to Trump fans about politics. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody has relatives who are Trump fans. I got an uncle who's a Trump fan, and he's not a Trump fan. And keep in mind, my uncle doesn't know jack shit about politics. Nothing about politics. He is a Trump fan for the sole purpose of having something to talk about because he is 100%, he's like the most uninteresting person in the world. So he's basically, he needs to be on the opposite side of you in order to have something to talk about. Because what's he going to talk about? His shit life? Nah. So this way, he's a contrarian. He has to be on the opposite side of you. And a lot of these people, if you've ever been in those forums, they don't have anything of substance to say. When they're talking about Trump, all they say is, and tell me if I'm wrong, all they say is, "Good job, Mr. President, you're doing a great job." And that's it. Because he hasn't done shit. He's not going to do shit. All he's going to do is play golf and just get mad at celebrities, and that's it. And they're his fans because it makes us mad. As liberals, we're mad at that. So that they just get a rise out of us. So there's no... I was telling my nephew, my nephew's 16, and in 18 months he'll be able to vote, which is huge. And I told him, stay away from identity politics. If you had, yes, there was a time where you could talk with people across the aisle and learn something, and maybe even teach a little something. Those days are gone. Okay, don't get involved in identity politics. Get involved in politics that's going to affect you directly. All this social stuff is meant to divide. Regular politics, like tax cuts and stuff like that, that's something that we all share in common. Because whether you're a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Green Party, tax cuts are important to us and how it's going to affect us. Identity politics is meant to divide us.
What do you mean when you say identity politics? I'm confused.
Okay. Identity politics is basically just, and there's a few dictionary terms about identity politics, but it's basically just it's basically just more politics on social issues. So when people talk about abortion clinics or gay marriage, stuff like that, and I'm pretty sure it's not the exact definition term of it, but when people talk about identity politics, they're not talking about tax cuts. They're not talking about, it's basically meant to divide. So, and you heard a lot about that in 2016 with Hillary. They were accused of doing a lot of identity politics. It's meant to divide us. But I think that right now the division is too deep, especially after 2016. So the only way you could really work it out is these people need to be defeated and then made to see that we were really on their side the whole time. I know it sounds stupid, but I had a coworker, right? She's an older lady. She said when she was a kid, they had the debate about Medicare, and they were saying that the same things about Medicare. They said the same exact things about Obamacare. And now all those people who just hated Medicare so much are on Medicare. And if you even think about cutting their Medicare benefits, those old folks will cut your hamstrings. But back in the days, they hated it until they had it. Now they have it, and they need it to live. My father's on Medicare. And those cuts to Medicare are going to hurt him horrendously because he's a pensioner. He's 76 years old. What's he going to do? Just pull some overtime? No. He doesn't work anymore. So when he has to come out of pocket for all this stuff, like, that's the stuff that we really need to be talking about. Who gives a shit about gay marriage? And what I mean by that is, if two people get married in Wichita, Kansas, 2 men or 2 women get married, how's it going to affect your paycheck? It's not. How's it going to affect your pension? It's not. That's the politics you need to stay away from. So stop talking to Trump fans. It's not worth your time. Spend your time doing more positive things. Okay? Leave the Trump fans, just let them suffocate in their bubbles. Okay? So number 3, research and then vote. The reason why I put research in the front, okay? Don't just vote for the lesser of 2 evils. Okay? Research your candidates before you vote for them, especially in local elections where it's going to really affect you directly. I didn't vote in the presidential elections in 2016. I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it.
You shouldn't be.
But I did vote in my local elections, and I did vote for a provision. And I remember asking a guy about it who was talking about it, that expands public transportation in the Raleigh-Cary area, especially in Raleigh. And there's a couple of new buses in Cary now that get you to Raleigh a little bit quicker, right? But I asked the guy, I was like, look, why is it worded like this? Because the way it was worded to make it look like that they're just going to, it was worded very badly. So if you weren't up on the issue, you would just be like, well, I don't want to do this. And it's because, for some reason, the Republicans, since they controlled the House and the Senate in North Carolina, they were the ones who had to word the bill for the ballot, the thing for the ballot.
Yes, it's like SAT testing. That's how I feel. It's ambiguous. It just depends on how you read it.
Yeah, because this is something I've been hearing about, because I try and keep my ear to the ground for local politics, and when I saw this thing, I was just like, huh. So I asked the guy about it, and he was, and I voted for it anyway, because I'm like, this has to be it. But when I went outside after I voted, and I asked the guy about it, he was like, yeah, well, the Republicans, they wrote it, because they controlled the House and the Senate, so they wrote how it looked on the ballot, but it passed. So that's why they're expanding bus lines, and now they're talking about trains, like a monorail, to get you around, between RTP and Raleigh and some of the surrounding areas. So it's a good thing, Stay close to your local politics, but research them, okay? League of Women Voters is a great resource if you want to research your local politicians, When I voted in my local elections in Cary, that's where I went to find out information on them. And the good thing about League of Women Voters is that they're nonpartisan. So you're not going to get you'll be able to get the information about what they're all about without the fluff. Now, last but not least, if you have to vote for the lesser of 2 evils, okay? Because sometimes you have to, because maybe the other guy is a pedophile who dresses up as a cowboy and is banned from wherever children are, okay? So you gotta vote for this guy that you would never vote for otherwise, okay? Let them know that you will hold them accountable if they do the bidding of corporations over the will of the people. Call them. Write them. Show up at their town halls if they have them. And let them know that if they fuck this up, keep your resume updated, because you're going to need it very soon. Like Doug Jones. I would never vote for Doug Jones. Doug Jones is more milquetoast than Tim Kaine. And that man is the milkiest of milquetoast. He's basically a corporate Democrat. But he was running against a pedophile cowboy. So who else are you going to vote for? And even then, he only won by 1.5 points. So it's not like he won like in a landslide, right? And the first thing he talked about, oh, Mitch McConnell called me up. We had such a great conversation. Fail. Mitch McConnell is your enemy. Mitch McConnell doesn't like you at all. He didn't want you. That's why he backed. Well, okay, he didn't exactly back Doug Jones. I'm sorry, Roy Moore. I apologize. He didn't really back him. He was just kind of like half and half. He wasn't like Trump was doing his full support for him after a while. So I will not say that about Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell did not. He wasn't thrilled about Roy Moore at all. So I'll give him that much. But Mitch McConnell is the man who stole a Supreme Court pick from President Obama. So why you want to be buddies with that guy? He's your political adversary. So it's going to be hideous unless we do something. And that's the thing. When stuff like this happens, people tend to become jaded and get out of the process. No, this is time to get into the process.
Yes, into the process. Let's do this.
Yep.
Let's have sex on the beach and lay in the sand. You and me, hand in hand. No, it's fine.
Now, I've been running my mouth for the last few minutes. Blue, Odie, what do you guys have to add?
I know you just kind of took us way off course a little bit. You know what I mean? Okay, let me get back on track. We'll start with a musical break. All right, we're back.
He just gave a little bit of time to breathe. You know how I get about this sort of stuff.
December. This recording is December 30th, and 2017 for a lot of us was like a roller coaster. It had its ups, it had its downs, it had its smooth rides, and it had its roughy, curvy rides. You know what I mean? One of the perks or one of the good things about 2017 is there was a lot of good media that came out. One of the downfalls of 2017 was there was a lot of downfalls for those that control media, which may bring into 2018 and future years a whole new era of media. I recently saw a movie by Guy Del Toro called The Shape of Water, one of the most amazing films I have ever seen. Not what we usually consider Hollywood type films, definitely a niche type film, but beautifully written, beautifully acted. The visuals were amazing. I mean, it was just crazy. And I hope to see more films like that, especially with women taking the helm more in the future based on all this fallout of these sexual harassment charges in 2017. We're going to probably see a lot more women directors, or a lot more directors who are part of the feminism movement or cater to the feminism movement, where we see stories that speak to stories that are outside of the bulk of horror or typical dramas that focus on a male hero or things like that. Besides, the DC and Marvel films that come out that we all love and adore. It'll be a very, very interesting time period for film and television, I think, and maybe even music, as we didn't really see the fallout with musicians for some reason.
Well, no. I had to think about it for a second. I was like, well...
We know urban music is misogynist as shit, so I'm trying to... Odie, was there any fallout from any music in the music scene?
Like with the two shit?
Yeah, like with sexual harassment, Me Too, and all that.
I mean, with the exception of Russell Simmons, no.
That's right.
Yeah, Russell.
Even then, he's not really like...
So we don't really
related
consider him we don't really consider him a music mogul anymore,
Right.
Or have his hand in the music scene like that. He's more into that Def Comedy Jam shit, Does he have any influence over Def Jam right now? No, I don't
think so. I think, but what's interesting though is you would have thought like that industry, because we all know a lot of musicians come out of that who aren't very talented and know they're getting by on their books. I mean, I watch Love and Hip Hop.
I don't even know.
That's exactly what's going on that show. And then every once in a while you get a Cardi B who's really grinding and not willing to, suck a dick for airplay, but then you get some women that are, and that's what's kind of interesting. Like, maybe there is something to like the Hollywood thing versus the music producer thing.
Or maybe the music of the hip hop era, this urban scene, is just very reminiscent of the 60s and 70s and the movie things where all that shit was okay, and now all of a sudden with the Me Too movement and all that, not so okay. Maybe urban music just ain't caught up yet, because it's kind of, 40 years old kind of basically for the the scene.
Yeah.
And they're not as savvy, and they're not as grooved, and they found in their own way, and maybe that's just for them. That is the formula, and it just makes sense. And for the most part, blacks just aren't blabby about shit like that. They just accept it. You know, it's a part of the game. Yeah. You know what I'm
saying? I remember I got...
Also, too, I was just going to say real quick, you know, when a black woman comes out against a black man, that's a problem. Because now it's like, oh, shit, like, the bigger picture is, like, we need to clean this shit up in-house because nobody needs to be in our business. Yeah, like you said, just not being blabby about it and how it looks for black people as a whole instead of protecting the black woman.
Right. So, yeah, so 2018, we're going to see some interesting developments based on that. But what I wanted to speak on was, you know, just being the best you can be in 2018, or from here on out, period. You know what I'm saying? I think that through all these barriers and nooks and crannies that made their appearance in 2017, I think we had the opportunity to learn a lot and be enlightened in many ways. I feel more enlightened now than I've ever felt enlightened. And I thought I was a pretty enlightened dude, you know what I'm saying? And some of it based on personal tragedy, some of it based on what I learned listening to shows like 360 and Politics and He Said, She Said, and the Verdict podcast. Some of it just, you know, day-to-day interactions with clients and hearing their experiences and where they're coming from, and when they find themselves enlightened, I may be enlightened from it. So thankful in many ways for 2017. 2017 set me back a little bit, but it set me back in such a way that it's opening the gates for me in 2018 like never before. I was complacent. I was lazy. I was stuck. I was egotistical. I was in a position in which I thought I had more power than I actually had. The reset button put me in a position in which I'm more aware of what the world is, more aware of my position in the world, more aware of where I want to be in the world in actuality, and not in this hallucinatory state I might have found myself in based on that job which I held for so long and did whatever I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's a beautiful thing. So if anything, the thing I got from it was gratitude. You know what I'm saying? I'm as much as I say, oh my gosh, that was the worst year ever, I had to say gratitude was something that was one of the biggest themes I might have pulled from it. So now, you know, I wake up in the morning and I have a gratitude session, and I think about all the things I need to be thankful for as I brush my teeth, which I have all 32 of them, and I, you know what I'm saying, wash my hair or moisturize my roots. Yeah, there's a little bit more gray there than before. There's a lot more gray there in my beard. Thankful I still have hair. My father was balding by 33, you know what I'm saying? Luckily, that doesn't affect the male children of a male heir because they get that trait from the female, the mother. You know what I'm saying? My mama has a full head of hair. Whew, I'm good on that. Thankful that, you know, my body ain't what it needs to be. I definitely need to tone up and lose some weight because I really want to play basketball again in 2018. But I'm healthy. I don't have cancer. I don't have diabetes. I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have, you know, any ailments besides the fact that I'm about maybe 30 pounds more than I should be. And my doctor says, yeah, you're doing good, but you could do so much better. You know what I'm saying? When I'm having a hard day, some days are harder than others. I front load my week for therapy, Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays usually, lighter on Thursdays and Fridays. But I make a gratitude list. I might write down real quick while I'm in the car in traffic or whatever, or in between breaks when I'm at Chick-fil-A and ain't got no business there. I'm buying number 4 count with lemonade and a chocolate chip cookie. Woo, I do that way too much often. Definitely got to curb that in 2018. But then just write down the list. Sometimes seeing what I'm grateful for in my hand is very empowering. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I get angry. Sometimes I might get angry. I might get upset about something because there's a lot of things to be upset about if we allow ourselves to be upset about them. But instead of getting mad at somebody or getting angry, I pull back and I show gratitude. At least I try to. That's something I really find it hard to work on. That's like the hardest thing that I'm doing because when you're angry, you're angry. But, you know, to show gratitude because they might They might upset you in that moment, or they might be upset with you in that moment. But then you just think about all the good things that they do for you. They support you. They take care of you. You know what I'm saying? They feed you. They're your friend. They're your counselor in many ways. They listen to what the hell you got going on, and and don't judge you from it. You know what I'm saying? And that's a beautiful thing to be able to have that, and just be more aware of that. Don't be angry. Show gratitude. You know what I'm saying? Don't be mad. Show gratitude, because we all have our own shit that we bring to the table, and we just have to scan back. You know what I'm saying? This angry moment is right here, and it makes about maybe 0.1% of this whole process. Look at all the things we can be grateful about regarding the situation or this person, you know what I'm saying, that we're angry with at the time. And instead of criticizing a significant other, which goes back to what I just said, saying show gratitude. We can talk shit all day about what we find wrong with somebody or a situation, and oftentimes we do that, and it's very detrimental to any situation: friendships, relationships, co-workers, employees, supervisees, supervisors, etc. But then we should show gratitude for what we are able to find gratitude with them in regards. It's hard to find when you're mad. It really is hard to find when you're mad. But to be able to do it is so empowering. You will find that those relationships will increase in value and have so much more oomph to them, in my opinion. Couldn't find an English word for oomph, so I just said oomph. So, and then, just to top it all off, whenever you have a major challenge in your life, zoom back, sit back, and find the things to be grateful for. We'll find that many of our setbacks in life are actually opportunities to do something better and greater. And that's all I have to say about that.
I will say this, Lisa, that you were like 30 pounds overweight. I wish I was 30 pounds overweight. Jesus Christ. If I get back to 30 pounds overweight, that'd be amazing.
I'm not 30 pounds from my weight. In my mind, I would love to be. I'm 30 pounds from the weight my doctor wants me to be at. So
right. And I'm in the same boat. I'm closing in on 100 pounds over. So it's like, to be down to 30 pounds over, I'm just like, oh my God, that would be amazing.
Well, you got to do some things,
and I will say this. My friends going to be mad at me because I got invited to a New Year's Eve party, and I'm not going to go.
Because you're 100 pounds overweight?
No, because I'm pretty much going to use that time to and I used to be the guy who on New Year's Eve, I go to the city. Like, especially when I was, I dated a young lady who lived in the Bronx. So I lived in Long Island. So I'd go out to the Bronx and, hang out with her and be on that. And she lived with her mom. Well, her mom lived with her. She was on disability. So I'd have to go home, and I'd be on that last train that's crowded to the gills. I don't know how it stayed on the tracks because it's the last train, and and go to the city and all that other stuff. And I don't like doing that anymore. I basically just like being just play video games and watch VH1 when I had cable until midnight. But I said this year I'm gonna do something different. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna use my New Year's Eve to just plan for the next year, like actual plan, like pen to paper plan, and then have a plan to execute that plan. Not just say I'm going to do this, to just say, okay, how am I going to do it? It's kind of like talking to Donald Trump when Donald Trump says, I'm going to build a wall and make Mexico pay for it, and no one ever asks him, well, how are you going to do that? Right. And then when you do ask him, he just ends the interview.
Well, Mark, you can actually do two birds with one stone. You can make that list earlier in the day. In fact, if you're not working today, you can make that list today and still go to the party.
Well, actually, well, for the last few days, which is why I haven't been working on a podcast, the first half of my week off, I've just been really lazy. So I'm just trying to tie up a lot of loose ends that I've been, for the last couple of days, has been doing all this stuff where it's like, I don't want to go back to work on Tuesday and be like, damn, I didn't do anything on my week off. So I'm playing catch up,
Yeah, I understand. I'm right there with you. Basically winter cleanup versus spring cleanup.
and that's basically what I'm, doing a lot of shredding, getting rid of a lot of, my apartment is so cluttered because, I went from living by myself, having an extra bedroom to put stuff, to having a roommate, to now being in a smaller apartment. So it's just stuff all over the place. So I'm just trying to, I'm trying to get some of that done. But I'm just gonna do that instead. You know?
Yeah, I recommend you do both because let's think about this. It's a good way to socially transition into 2018. Don't know. I seen some incidents in which you were on social media, so I'm pretty sure you were at least twice that. Because do we post everything on social media? Probably not. Just to be more involved with people. We can live in isolation, or we can live with the togetherness of others. And I find that the togetherness of others is more empowering. You know what I'm saying? When I digitally connect with you and Odie and Charles on occasion and Mercedes when she's not working, it's almost like an endorphin rush. I feel better. I might not even say nothing on that episode, but just connecting with you on that occasion is, to me, somewhat empowering. Versus when I do my solo podcast, not so much, because I'm just talking shit. You know what I'm saying?
You know, and I think, and speaking of the podcast, I think that's part of the reason why I'm a little of some part of the reason, aside from getting to learn how to use the app, is just basically it's almost not the same, like exactly like you said. When I'm just on the solo podcast or just thinking about doing the solo stuff, it's just me just talking, as opposed to having people to just bounce stuff off of. You know.
Oh, but you can still do that. You know what I'm saying? It just may be more focused on whatever. It may be a talking point in which you want to dwell in more into. You'll find that your solo adventures offer the same opportunities as your group ones. In fact, you might find it might be the same people or even more. I think once you start really utilizing the Anchor app and start connecting with others, you'll find that your network will increase.
Yeah. And the one thing I was writing about was I probably should be the first thing I'm writing about the illegal immigrants who are being sent back to Mexico who've been here for 20 years and they have kids. So they have like 15, 16-year-old kids. And I'm just like, and that's my one area where I'm not very liberal on. And I was like, do I feel? And here's the thing. Saying that with you, right? Like if you and Odie and Charles, who was like I was cracking on. Well, not cracking on, but I'm like, Charles is like the Jerobi of the group. So he's a founding member, but we don't really see him much.
Right.
but he's still an important member of the team.
Right. Exactly. It's crazy how the person that put it all together would be the one who's just like. Hey, well, that was a great show, guys. Well, you're not the producer. What the hell? You said it was a great show. You should have been on it, you fuckhead.
Well, that's because you live on the other side of the country now.
I know, 3 hours back. Yeah.
But I thought about that. Like, I shouldn't make that my first topic because for me, it's like, yeah, I feel for you, but you knew the risk of coming in illegally and trying to start a life and just knowing that shadow of, one day I'm going to get caught is going to hang over you.
You've been doing something for 20 years. I don't think you're thinking about getting caught no more. 20 years is a long time.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They got complacent because they figured, well, I'm an American now, and not really, And that's something where if I did that solo, I would sound like such an asshole without having someone else.
Blatant racist ever. See,
right.
Politics, you can get buffed out a little bit with the other two sides.
Exactly. But for me to have a solo, I would sound like a Black Rush Limbaugh if I said that solo. So I got to be very careful about.
Well, it's your solo one. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. You know what I'm saying?
True. But I got to be careful because I don't want to I don't want to misrepresent myself as some sort of like Black Rush Limbaugh or Black Alex Jones talking, shit.
You can give yourself a disclaimer. I'm not racist. I'm not homophobic. I'm
but all the people who say
that's really true.
No, but that's how it starts when people say, "Well, I'm not a racist," but and then they say something really racist.
But no, I mean, but you speak to a great point. Zoom all the way out. Boom. You should not do things that are wrong. 2, you should probably be consequenced or learn a lesson from the wrongdoings you might have did. I mean, you could make it in such a way that there's a valuable lesson captured into the wrongs. And maybe instead of just saying like maybe making a blanket. I think when we do blanket statements, we sound racist at times. Maybe if we talk about maybe individual stories about what people did, that might be more palatable.
Right. But I have to be more careful, because I won't have you and Odie to keep me from going off the ledge.
Oh no, we're still gonna chip in. I don't think Odie has the Anchor app, but I definitely do.
Okay.
Charles definitely do. Odie said she don't have no room on her phone. Now, I don't know how you got an Android phone which has an SD card that you can offset the damn program onto the SD card. Come on now.
I'm having that problem with my phone and even my tablet, which is it won't let me. It let me put storage stuff on there. So if I take pictures, I could just tell it, okay, put the pictures on the SD card and not the main memory. But it will not let me add programs to the SD card. And I was like, well, why the hell did I buy an SD card for if I can't put the programs on?
You can't necessarily put the program initially on the card. I think you can offset aspects of the program onto the card. Because on my Android phone that I use for to check the Google Play on whether or not the podcast is coming up on Google Play, I offset all the time because I think it's only like a 1 gigabyte storage, but it can take a 64 gigabyte charge. Now, not all programs can do it, but some can.
Right. And that's what I have to look into.
And you could definitely offload the data of that program on the SD cards in many cases. You have to go into your program settings and see what. Some can, some can't. A lot of them can. So why would I download, let's say, 8 gigabytes of music onto the phone itself when I can offload it onto the SD card, but Google Play still pulls from it? You know what I mean?
Right. Odie, you've been very quiet.
I know. What you think? You think about some gratitude? What's up? Tell us something you're grateful for.
I am grateful for my new job. I actually I was on the verge of accepting the one offer, and I got a higher one. So, yeah. So I'll be joining. I actually start Wednesday.
All right.
So I'm grateful for.
What are you going to be doing? What kind of work are you going to be doing?
I'm going to be doing what I was doing before, basically training customers after they purchase software. This company focuses on realtors. They basically pay for like a program to help them get reliable leads because the program uses like a certain algorithm to predict certain trends and know when people are going to purchase. So realtors purchase this and they'll be making more than I was making at my former employer. And and I'll be in Durham a lot more, which will be fun. Been looking forward to hanging out there a lot more. So
chicken and waffles.
Yeah.
I will say one thing. I know you leaving your old job was not your choice, but it's one of the reasons why some employers don't like a good economy, because people have choices, and then so they don't have to. They'll be like, well, if I'm doing the same thing for a different employer for more money, then why am I doing that? And it makes it harder for them to keep talented people if they could just go to someplace else and just make more money. You know what I mean? So especially especially for skilled people. I mean, you could kick over a trash can and like 5-day laborers will come crawling out with shovels and picks in their hand. But I mean, for skilled work, like my father was a operating engineer. He basically never had to go to the union hall. Like my brother had to go to the union hall because he's a laborer. So and so was I. So basically, if there's no work, you go to the union hall and you say, hey, listen, I need some work. And then they work their magic and find places that need laborers, right? But my father's an operating engineer. So if there's no work, he basically just sits in bed, watches TV, and then there's the phone. And then they call him. He doesn't have to go to the union hall and be like, hey, I need... Nah. If he's out of work, they know. And then they'd be like, hey, Leo, we need you to come to such and such and do such and such, So when you got the skills, you have options. If you don't have the skills, you're just basically... It's like being in a barrel full of monkeys. One is not distinguishable from another. So that's why higher education or just basically just acquiring skills, and not to be college, is always important because it helps open up your options. So I'm glad that it all worked out for you, Odie.
I'm really, really relieved. I really liked the other place. I tried to negotiate with them. They wouldn't come up on their offer. And one thing I did like about this place was the first person to do my initial interview was a white woman. And she asked me about the salary range. I gave her the range. I gave her like the higher range, of course. And she said, oh, can absolutely do that. And not only did she say that, but she encouraged me to ask for more. She said, I know women and people of color tend not to negotiate or ask for higher wages, but I'm really going to encourage you to ask for more. So that's exactly what I did. I did my interview and presentation on Thursday, and they offered something. I had a counter offer for more, and that's what they gave me. I did explain to them, too, there was another offer on the table, which was the truth, and my decision was coming based solely on salary. And so I accepted their offer just Thursday night.
Man, that's what's up. I'm glad that worked for you. And what's amazing is that the woman empowered you to ask for more. Because honestly, I think we talked about it the other day. We were kind of on the fence about asking for more. Remember? I think we said go for it, but with reservations. But she said go for it. That's good stuff right there.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh, these are Durham vibes right here. It's a lot less stiff. I'm already starting to see the differences between, working in Durham and working in Raleigh. It's just the vibe out there is just way different. I can't wait to be a part of it.
It was kind of like, I know me and my analogy is Chris Jericho, a wrestler, was talking about going from WCW to WWE. And he said it was like those old cartoons where you're in black and white, and then you get Technicolor. And it's just like, oh, wow, this is the way it should be.
Yep. Absolutely. So, yeah, I'll be out in your neck of the woods next week. We'll do lunch, all that good stuff. And, so I'm looking forward to 2018. My travel turn-ups will commence. Blue, I'm going to ping you. We're trying to turn the Hamptons into the Blamptons. That's a trip coming up to the end of July.
Miami,
why not?
Miami, New York, Philly, you know what I'm saying?
You said you were going to travel more. You said you were going to travel more.
I'm not on my white girl shit. I'm going to have to get my Marlon Wayans on, and you know what I'm saying? Put my little white girl back.
I've never been to the Hamptons ever, but I've never had a desire to go. That's really my thing. Like, I had friends who
want to see what all the fuss is about. And I want to live like the rich people do, if only for a weekend.
And that's been my thing. I don't. Like, I'm just like, I would love to go to Europe, though. That I would love. Even France, I'll listen to a Frenchman tell me that my president sucks, and then learn enough French to agree with him. But
oh no, like in Amsterdam, everybody was like, "Oh, you're American? I'm sorry." Like that was pretty much, and especially like right after inauguration, every trip I went on, they were like, "Wow." Just like they can't believe it. So that's they'll all tell you they're actually very apologetic about it. So it's kind of fun to talk politics abroad.
It's like telling someone you have cancer and they're like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." Yeah, but I would love to go to. I mean, even though I don't like planes and being on. I mean, just going home, just spending 90 minutes on the plane to go see my father is harrowing enough. Being on a plane for like 10, 12 hours to go to England. How long is a flight to England anyway?
It's about 8 hours.
Okay.
It's about 7 to 8 hours.
Yeah, it'd be rough for me to be on a plane for that long. I think the longest I've ever been on a plane was like, however long it takes to get to St. Lucia. That's the longest I've ever been on a plane.
No, so probably like from New York, it's probably like
for
3
maybe
hours.
for maybe 4 or 5 hours, maybe.
Yeah, I would say 4 at the most.
The worst part was going from St. Lucia to Dominica because they put you on that little seaplane.
The one that saw that. Let's talk about a book real quick. Did anybody get the Tiffany Haddish book yet?
No, I have not. Me and Wake, I really need to see. Honestly, it is at the Wake County Public Library. Like, I actually check books out, but I owe Wake County some money right now. So.
Oh my goodness, you messing up. Let's get that straight before 2018. All right.
I gotta get it straight. But honestly, sometimes I try to wait for like the days to come around, because some days of the year they'll say you can return it with no fees. I know they used to do that a long time ago. I don't know if they still do.
In a long time. I think you're gonna have to go ahead and pay them fees.
Okay, I'm gonna just have to pay the damn fees.
When you borrow a library, like an intra-library loan, well, they get you on those fees. Those fees are astronomical. Because I was like, my library didn't have it, but they could get it from another library in the neighboring county, and they got it. And I was like, 3 days late. That shit was like $5. I was like, ah! And them damn videos. You can get some good videos from the library versus going to Redbox or whatever. But them fees will get your ass, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I would just say if you have because I'm looking it up now with The Last Black Unicorn. It's on Kindle. It's kind of expensive. Well, for a digital book, it's like $13.
It's worth it. This bitch is funny as shit.
You know what? I'm not gonna say I never really. I'm not gonna say.
Wayne County. What you in? Cary. What's your
Cary?
Yeah, you go to your library. I'm pretty sure your library has it.
I never really found Tiffany Haddish to be that funny. Forgive me. But the one thing, when she was on Saturday Night Live, she did this thing where they were playing video games, like in a tournament. And what's his name? The guy who does I keep forgetting his last name. Keenan.
Jack Farrell. Oh,
Keenan. No.
Okay.
Yeah. So he didn't get a chance to pick his character, so he had to pick a character called Boo Boo Jenkins, and then that was Tiffany Haddish's character, and then she was terrible. But they were sitting there like how fighters like how they bob back and forth. So she had to.
Yeah.
That I thought that was actually pretty funny. I thought she was good in that. But her name was Boo Boo Jenkins. That's the character, and I was like, okay, that did make me laugh.
I just went and I went online to see if they had any library books. They only got 9 in the whole Durham County and 38 holds. Gee whiz, I won't get this until like March.
Oh, you mean 9 copies of the book?
Mm-hmm. In Durham County.
Oh.
You'll be surprised though. You'll be surprised. I still use the holds because that's how I read Charlemagne's book, and it came through pretty fast. Like, because people don't come pick it up, or they cancel it because maybe they decided to go buy it. So when they get a notification, they're like, oh, never mind. You get moved up the list pretty fast. So I recommend trying it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do it anyway. I got the Charlemagne book for Christmas. I'm gonna message him and see when he's coming back to Monk's Corner, have him personally sign it. You know, he's from down that way. I haven't read it yet. I don't even want to read it. I want it to be fresh when he opens it and signs it. Then I'll read it. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I just don't have no interest in reading it. I just don't have an interest in reading it. To be honest. But maybe after he signed it, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna read it. But right now, I'm not feeling it. For some reason, I just don't. I used to love reading, but now it's not so much a passion of mine like it used to be. I guess because my real life is so busy, I just can't justify the time for it. But I don't know what it is. There's some great books out there.
I have The Shining on my Kindle. I've been trying to read that book for like 2 years because my friend suggested Dr. Sleep, which is the sequel to The Shining, which is the little boy who survived, who's all grown up and going through his own issues. Like, he's an alcoholic, but he also still sees dead people and stuff like that. So I was just like, oh, okay. But I'm like, I should read The Shining because the book was a little bit different than the movie. And I just don't really. It's not that it's not a good book. It's a great book, but it's not like before where I could read a book a week. You know, it's been more of a struggle for me to read. Like, I go to sleep listening to Young Turks and Majority Report on my Kindle, as opposed to actually reading a book. And I do need to get back into that, into actually reading. You know, so that may be one of my resolutions.
I'm getting back into my bad Netflix habits of always putting stuff on hold and never watching it. Watch out now.
I'm rotating 4 shows right now. So I'm watching Elementary on Hulu. I'm watching Pretty Little Liars on Netflix. I'm watching Arrow. And what was the other one? Oh, Person of Interest. So
okay. I ain't watching none of that shit. I'm about to watch tonight, Dark Mirror Season 4 on Netflix. That's all I got planned. Oh, I'm gonna watch Bright.
You guys not watching Bright?
I'm gonna watch Bright either tonight or tomorrow. Haven't decided yet. Card was compromised, and the subscription came, and so it was a couple of days I was without it until I got the new card number. So yeah, it was painful not having Netflix for like 3 or 4 days over this break, boy. You don't understand, boy. Well, I didn't realize how much this family depended on it. You know what I'm saying? Ah, goodness gracious. Then the remote for the cable, the Spectrum cable, got messed up. Like the battery leaked or something, acid, whatever. So we haven't had cable in a couple of days because people have been too lazy to go to get batteries from the store. I don't know what that's about because I've been at the store several times for other things. But anyways, having been without cable for a minute, I think maybe I don't need cable anymore because I don't feel the pain of not having cable. You know what I'm saying? Oh, God. Imagine not having to pay $70 or $80 because I could get the same thing on Hulu for the most part anyway, which I pay $5.99 a month for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really missed cable. The only time I missed cable was during football season, and even then, even when I had cable, I couldn't tell you the last time I watched an entire football game from start to finish. So it's like I'm not really missing anything, and I saved $75 a month.
There you go. Hey, who's the lady who plays Cookie on Empire? What's her name?
Oh, Taraji. I was pronounce her first name, but Taraji Henson.
Mm-hmm.
She has a movie coming out January called Proud Mary, the action movie.
Okay. She don't have as many books. She don't have as many copies in Durham County, nor does she have as many hoes. Aww.
I don't know. Like books from celebrities.
No, hers has been out a lot longer. Hers came out in 2016.
Oh. But I mean, books from celebrities. It's like, did you really write that? I don't think so.
You see what Mariah Carey.
That's just me being cynical.
I would love to hear what Mariah Carey got to talk about. Let me see. Let's see. All right. Well, we digress. So that concludes. Oh, last words. I'm tripping. Last words. Odie.
Talk to you next year. I didn't forget after all.
All right, Merk, what you got?
All right, last words. Basically, let's just hope that the last couple of days of 2017 are just quiet and uneventful.
Good luck. And my last words is gratitude. Remember, the key word for 2018 is focus. Oh, hold up. Zoom all the way out. Remove negativity from your life. Focus on positivity. If it's not working for you, it's working against you. Remove the excess from your life and focus on what's important that's going to move you forward in your life. And always remember the key word, gratitude. We have many things to be grateful for. Focus on them instead of focusing on the negativity that impacts your life. And that concludes another episode of 360 Degrees. If you haven't subscribed as of yet, make sure you subscribe to the Urban Breakdown Podcast, which includes shows such as 360 Degrees, Politics, and He Said, She Said. New show on the horizon, Black Man's Perspective. And that concludes another episode. Thank you.
I'm the shit. And bitch, I talk like this cause I'm the shit. And can't no other bitch shut it down like this. So let the band play while I talk my shit. Cause bitch, I'm a cocky motherfucker. Cocky motherfucker. Bitch, I'm a cocky motherfucker. Cocky motherfucker. Cocky motherfucker. Cocky motherfucker. Bitch, I'm a cocky motherfucker. You were way too concerned with your position in the city. While I was in New York taking trips, sitting pretty. Catch vouch for that top 10 DJ Envy. You say you're making moves, but ain't really fucking with me. I took some time off just to let you do your thing. And now a bitch back and ain't a damn thing changed. I see you switch your style, little color in your hair. You're trying to find sex appeal that clearly isn't there. Me, muggy looking funny when I come around. Cringing at the fact Sadie Hawkins stole the crown. Bitches wanna see me fall, knock me off my grind. Now watch me spit my rhyme on the real drum line, bitch. I walk like this cause I'm the shit. And bitch, I talk like this cause I'm the shit. And can't no other bitch shut it down like this. So let the band play while I talk my shit. Cause bitch, I'm a cocky hoes standing in the line. Soul train, I don't even know these bitches. No names, make these bitches pull their hair out. Road gang, I'm a sedity bitch, run the whole city, bitch. I get that dirty money, niggas thinking that I'm Diddy's bitch. I'm on my nigga shit, swag so ignorant. All these hoes dumbfounded, belligerent. Dudes wanna wife it, chicks wanna bite it, and I might just let them and give a fuck who don't like it. S-A-D-I, 10 like Eli. These hoes stay playing, but I'm serious. T.I. I walk like this cause I'm the shit, and bitch I talk like this cause I'm the shit. And can't no other bitch shut it down like this. So let the band play while I talk my shit. Cause bitch I'm a cocky motherfucker, cocky motherfucker. Bitch I'm a cocky motherfucker, cocky motherfucker, cocky motherfucker, cocky motherfucker. Bitch I'm a cocky motherfucker, cocky bitch I'm a cocky motherfucker, cocky motherfucker. Bitch I'm a cocky motherfucker, cocky motherfucker, cocky motherfucker, cocky motherfucker. Bitch I'm a cocky motherfucker, cocky motherfucker. Sit down, you know word around the city. Sadie Hawkins is the hottest, and you know the chicks are ditty. I step up on the scene feeling like $1 million. I hate to be you, yeah, I know your life sucks. I never been a hater, get credit to where it's due for all my cocky motherfuckers. I made this one for you. You can vouch for that, or you can vouch for this. So let the band play while I talk my shit. Yeah, I walk like this cause I'm the shit, and bitch I talk like this cause I'm the shit. And can't no other bitch shut it down like this. So let the band